Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Hyperfixation, the podcast, your weekly deep dive into the niche and the eccentric. And by niche and eccentric, we're talking about one of the most popular franchises in Western media, Indiana Jones, today. We're taking a little trip back in time. We're going to look at one of my favorite games as a kid, an absolute banger of my childhood. I played originally on the original Xbox, and I'm playing it now on an Xbox Series X. This is Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb from LucasArts. This is a great game. This is a fantastic game. I love it to bits. So much fun. I've been extremely mature about my save game file names. This is a fantastic game. I've loved it for years and years. I've replayed it quite a few times. It's just so much fun. It really makes you feel like Indy, and it's a great little story. It feels right at home in the original trilogy. It does things very differently, of course, to the most recent Indy game, The Great Circle. But this really stands up on its own, and I feel it stands the test of time. It is, a Tomb Raider-inspired style of platformer, puzzler, action-adventure sort of game. But then again, Tomb Raider is heavily inspired by Indiana Jones, so, it's a real chicken and the egg. And Indiana Jones is inspired by millions of things before it, so, what can you do? This is just a game that I love, and we're just going to play a bit of it. Just for fun, just for a bit of a laugh. So this is my save file penis, and we're going to play... Let's play through Prague. Prague is probably my favorite... element of the game. It's probably my favorite level. And we're going to watch a cutscene as well, the introduction to Prague. This sets up a lot of the story. There's the sort of the Indy prologue set in Ceylon in South America. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And we're going to start sort of where the story really properly picks up, which is back at Marshall College. The guy voicing Indy is really good as well. It's not as sort of scary as the Troy Baker impression, but this guy's great. Does a really good Indy, and the script is really nicely written.
Excuse me. The exhibit hall is upstairs.
But, as is tradition on Hyperfixation, the podcast, Harrison Ford will be making an appearance. So we'll see how that goes.
What can I do for you?
What do you know about Qin Shi Huangdi?
The first emperor of China. He built the Great Wall and established a dynastic government that lasted for centuries. His reign lasted from 255 BC to...
That information can be found in a schoolbook, Dr. Jones. My interests concern the stories surrounding the Emperor's tomb. As you are undoubtedly aware, Emperor Qin is buried under Mount Li near the city of Xi'an.
Yes, that's about all anybody really knows for sure. According to the legends, Qin's tomb is an immense underground city filled with unimaginable riches, which took thousands of workers several years to build. After its completion, all those involved with the construction of the tomb were sealed inside. At least that's what the stories say. Due to Chinese superstition, nobody really knows for sure.
Yes. The Chinese people have always held that excavation and desecration of the tomb are one and the same.
I just really like how sort of seriously and faithfully they're taking the property, which is really good. I think it's just a really fun game. The hat thing is great.
But unlike those flights of Western fancy, the heart of the dragon is quite real. A flawless black pearl that was buried with the Emperor. It's said that the heart possesses the power to control the will of men.
And it's a great artifact, and it's a nice sort of change of pace for the franchise instead of doing the biblical stuff to do something, you know, based in Chinese mythology, which is kind of cool. I feel like something like this would have been a much better choice than Archimedes' dial or something that's just like crazy. I do like what's a nice little touch is that you can see on the chalkboard some of the locations and things Indy encountered on the last adventure in Ceylon. It's a a nice little touch. So that's the artifact he got while there. It's what you fight through all of it to find, and it reveals 1/3 of the Mirror of Dreams. The Mirror of the Dream. There's a lot of different artifacts in the game. Like the main one we're looking for is the Heart of the Dragon. But you come across the Mirror of Dreams, which you spend sort of the first part of the game collecting, sort of the first act. Then there's this weapon, this blade thing that you get sort of at the end of Act 2. That's pretty sick when it goes into all this supernatural stuff. I think that's what I like about it as well, is that they really upped the supernatural stuff, the supernatural elements that Indy is super cool. It's also got Fortune and Glory written on the board, which is pretty cool.
Will you help us?
A chance to become the first man in the Emperor's tomb. When do we leave, Chewie?
It leaves tomorrow morning.
Look.
Be careful, Dr. Jones. The path to the dragon's heart is more dangerous than you can imagine.
It always is, sweetheart.
And as always, Indy is a misogynist. So here we go. We're going from Marshall College all the way to... So this is actually a prequel. This is set just before the Temple of Doom, and actually has a cute little nod at the end, which leads straight into the Temple of Doom. But here we are, Prague. This is the second location in the game, but I feel it's where the game properly starts. I love the Prague stuff. I'll always want to replay it. The Ceylon stuff is great, but it is tutorially. Oh, I've forgotten how to play, folks. All right. Oh, I've been shot. I've been shot by this Nazi. So A and X are indeed punch, and you can do combos like that sort of. You can do a bit of a head dive. I also forgot that this is an audio medium primarily. So welcome everyone. So we've just spawned in. Indy is now on the hunt for another third of the Mirror of Dreams, an ancient artifact that should gain him access into the Emperor's tomb. Right now, we're running through the streets of Prague at night. Very gothic, very scary, very castle-y. And there's some Nazis in some suits. They're sort of incognito Nazis. I mean, I'm not sure... he hasn't yet referred to them explicitly as... Oh, they are speaking German, that being said. And they are exceptionally blonde. There we go. For audio listeners, Indy just kicked a dude and he did a backflip. It was pretty sweet. He's, of course, rocking his sweet leather jacket. Indy has a variety of tools at his disposal. He's got his whip. He's got a canteen, which is this game's mechanic for filling up on water. Filling up on health, sorry, you drink water, and you can fill up your canteen at different drinking fountains. Much like they have in the inner west of Sydney, some public drinking fountains where you can fill up your water bottle. Indy does the same. He's got his revolver, he's got his whip, he's also got a Luger silenced pistol, which he got from a Nazi. Now, the Nazi just, tackled me, and then if you're carrying certain items in the game, they can be knocked out of your hand by enemies when you do fisticuffs. Your whip can't. Your whip always stays in your inventory. Your hat does. If you get knocked off a bit of a hill or you get hit really hard, your hat can fly off and you have to pick it up later. Your I don't think you can lose your revolver, but you can lose other guns that you can pick up and put in your inventory, which is your satchel. You can't lose your canteen. So there are some items that you can't lose. Right now, I'm trying to sneak into a castle. Oh, this guy saw me, and I've just knocked him off a cliff. Sorry, lad. Oh, he's alive. Oh no. All right, let me put away my gun, and I'm gonna jump down on this chain and try and knock his socks off. So this game is, you go all over the world in the search for not only the Mirror of Dreams, but then the Emperor's Tomb, which is the believed to be the first Emperor of China's final resting place. And within it is a powerful mythological artifact called the Heart of the Dragon, which is said to give... what did he say in the cutscene? The power to control the will of other men. That's pretty cool. So this level, we're going to sneak through this whole castle. This game was just so much fun to replay, and when I was younger, I was not very good at the game, so would often just sort of play the first level, or the first few levels over and over and over again. So it wasn't until sort of I became more of an adult and revisited it that I actually was able to, you know, properly enjoy and finish the game and appreciate it for what it is. It's to the point where, especially like these opening levels, there's no mystery to me about where to go and what to do. Indy's at like quarter health at the moment, so I'm just going to fill up on some water. Hydrate or dihydrate, folks. All right, he's going to whip down into this dungeon. So this level is like in a dungeon of Prague. There's like skeletons and Nazis. A real spooky time for us all. Now, my Luger is absolutely full of ammo. So I'm gonna use it on these Nazis here. There's a few things that are really cool. Your hat always respawns. If you lose your hat or you don't pick it up, it always respawns when you enter in a new level. I like the fact that there's not really checkpoints. It's just like each mission is its own checkpoint. Does mean if you die at the end of the longer missions, it feels like, you know, you've wasted a lot of time, but I do like those stakes. There's no, like, difficulty setting either. It is the difficulty it is, which, you know, I've always enjoyed. Like the original Assassin's Creed games, you know, do that. That's not a thing they really do anymore, but, you know, I enjoy that aspect of it. Another cool thing is destructible environments and improvisable weapons, which they, you know, was a concept they used again for the most recent game, but I've just kicked this table and I'm going to grab a table leg and then use it to whack the crap out of this Nazi. He's just hit me and I've dropped it and he's picked it up now. I'll do the same to him. Boom. You know, in this day and age, it's nice to whack a few Nazis, folks, as it turns out. In most missions, there's a secret artifact that you can find, like a little collectible, which is always fun. What I like about not having checkpoints in missions is that it feels like a continual story. So you will play through a whole level and then get to the end, and then lo and behold, you know, it's like playing this one whole story. It's not segmented by these checkpoints. You know, you experience a level and then you move on to the next one. Also, they've just absolutely mastered the music and sound cues. I'll see how much I've got left in my canteen, folks. Okay, I'm going to top up on some water, hydrate or dihydrate, and I'm going to try and avoid some traps, folks. So there are some, if you've seen Scooby-Doo Spooky Island, that level of axes are swinging from the ceiling. There's like a horizontal swinging axe, so I've got to be careful. Climbing up some stairs now, and I'm entering a long, precarious hallway with some grooves in the side with more swinging axes, so that's always fun. Great. I'm awesome at this game. Oh. Just avoiding traps like an absolute bloody hero, folks.
I should have kept that teaching job.
Times like this, I realize I should have kept that teaching job. Some of the classic Indiana Jones humor we know and love him for. So interact button is what? Oh, why? Okay, great. I've opened a gate to I've pulled down a lever that's shaped like a dog. Oh, here's a drinking fountain. Thank you, City of Sydney. I'm going to regret saying that later. All right. What's cool as well is that when you've got an item in your inventory or you need to use it for something like an interactable item, so there are all these gargoyles and different tree branches and things throughout the game where Indy can swing from with his whip. It'll come up with an icon for the tool you need, and there's a hotkey on the controller to pull out that particular item. And Indy will look at like what he's going to interact with as well, which is there's a lot of nice little touches that make you feel that's an extra thing to sort of help with the puzzle aspect, I suppose. But it's a lot of fun. Oh, you can also your whip is fairly functional. The thing is, if somebody is shooting at you like this Nazi is, it's not particularly helpful. But you can disarm. It doesn't disarm enemies, so his gun just went flying. The whip doesn't do much damage, but it is good on groups of enemies. And this, I think, is the end of the level from memory. The other cool thing about the inventory is that it keeps ammunition. So it records how much ammunition you have and takes it from level to level, which is a nice little touch. I'm just about to swing across this chasm, folks. But some whip swing spots require you to jump and then swing. Precarious, and this, for people who've played this game, this is often where you get frustrated. If you die here, you go back to the beginning of the mission. So you always take a little bit of a breath. Now I've got a wall shimmy. Oh, that's interact as well, so that's still Y. Yeah, so Indy is looking actively at, whip swing spots. All right, I found another lever, folks. Let's pull this. Yeah, it's got a great story. There's some great voice acting. It's a fun game. It looks great. Like, check out the video version on YouTube. It's not got updated graphics or anything. It's just playing in like a higher resolution. There we go. Like, there's some really cool details. It's a really fun game and underrated. Like, everyone talks about the N64 titles or even like the early PC titles. So like Fate of Atlantis and like The Last Crusade, which are point and clicks. And they're great. They are really fun. And a lot of people talk about the N64 games. So I think there was the Infernal Machine, which I played the demo a hell of a lot as a kid. But I don't know, Emperor's Tomb, which is the last indie game for a long time, doesn't get, I don't think it gets like the respect it deserves. It's a banger. It's globe-trotting, you go everywhere. Okay, I've gotten myself lost. Oh, I need to go back up there. What? Oh, what? Okay, I've stuffed something up and I don't even sort of know when that happened. Maybe I need to go back down here. Maybe it's the way it's got to be, little darling. Oh, my table leg. Found my table leg from earlier, folks. I'll take that with me for posterity. I would say one of my complaints, which is actually a complaint I'll share with Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which I really liked. I really enjoyed that game. There's no like horse riding or like proper like vehicle missions or anything. Like there's some on rails style. Oh, I can't actually get back through here. I don't think. Hang on, let me drop my. There's no like proper vehicle or horse riding missions, which if they will make a sequel to Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, they've definitely opened themselves up for sequel, and it did so well that, it's sort of inevitable at this point. But, if you're listening Machine Games and the new LucasArts, whatever it's called now, Lucasfilm Games, I think, horse riding. Get a horse in there, especially with these huge scale open maps. Like, it sort of makes sense to do a bit of traversing. Yeah, I'm lost, folks. Remember when I was saying before I knew exactly where to go and it was all basically muscle memory at this point? Yeah, I'm going to swing. Oh. So I fell into the chasm, folks. The chasm from earlier. I fell into it and died. So I have to start the mission again. So this is I'm actually going through the journey of a new player, which, you know, I thought would be a really nice way to introduce players to this game that I love so much and that I don't absolutely hate right now. All right, so I'm gonna quickly speed run back through the level just so I can bloody get to the next one. All right, stand by, folks. We're gonna fast forward. Let me climb up here. What? Okay, so maybe I didn't do this last time. Okay, so I think I just jumped through a hole that I shouldn't have jumped into. Oh, I think what? I have no idea what I did, folks. All right, I'm beating up some Nazis in case that wasn't obvious from the audio. Oh, so the combat is sort of combo button based. There's a block button, and there's sort of a lock-on button. What sort of makes it variable, the AI is really good. So, you know, while somebody is engaging with fisticuffs with you, if there's another enemy, they will take cover somewhere and try and shoot you from a ways away. Indy does the most damage with his fists if he's not using a gun, of course. My hat is very much off. Sometimes enemies as well will crouch when they're trying to use a gun, which means Indy can just use a very sharp kick to the head. But yeah, Indy uses some real brawler type punch combos. Uses his shoulders a lot. And what's fun is that at the end of a combat encounter, Indy then has to go find his hat and then pick it up and then put it on and then keep walking. It's just little things like that are cool, you know, that make you remember what it was like being, you know, 10 years old, watching those films for the first time and going, oh, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Great. There's a lot of skeletons lying around, which is a little disconcerting. I'm just going to fill up my water bottle. Hydrate or dihydrate, folks. Nice. So pulled that lever and that's opened up. And okay, that is the end of the level. That particular gate from memory. So let's climb down. Ooh! Please excuse, there is some random construction happening in the apartments next to us for some reason. And also outside and also everywhere. Just one of those days, I guess. Lovely. Well done, folks. Now we're loading up. Ooh. This is actually... This is... There's a lot happening in this level. All right. I'm going to just take a quick slurp of my canteen. Ah! Pity isn't filled with Glenmorangie. All right. So we've got a large courtyard in Prague, and the camera has zoomed in and shown us a machine gun, which we're going to use to mow down these Nazis. Cool. Indy is, yeah, like, as a hero, is, like, one of the most prolific murderers. Like, yes, it is Nazis, but, like, still... Like, he murders so many people. Like, there's that scene in The Last Crusade where he's rescuing Sean Connery, you know, and it's like the first proper time he goes, "Don't call me Junior." And he mows down like 4 Nazis with this machine gun. And I've lost my hat, folks, which isn't great. Your hat doesn't, you know, impact your health or anything, but it sure impacts your style. Oh, what I like so much about the game is how it, yeah, just makes you feel like Indy. And you're part of this great, fresh adventure that feels faithful to the original trilogy, but without being, you know, too fan servicey. Like there's a lot of new stuff in it, but a lot of cute little fan servicey nods here and there. Like nothing egregious. Oh, I might not make it. Oh, there we go. I desperately need some health, folks. And I swear I used to be good at this game, folks. Incidentally, these gameplay videos, so there is a sort of a reason why I've been doing a lot of them recently. At the moment, I'm working a particular job which is taking up an inordinate amount of my time. So it just means recording time is limited as well as editing time. I'm really grateful at how the podcast has been received and how people are still listening to it and watching it. The goal is to do something different with it each week, and I want it to still feel like I'm doing something different with it each week. This is just sort of a way to sort of expand my horizons a bit and look at formats other than just how the first bunch, which was, you know, me and a guest sitting at a table. So that's why I'm sort of doing these. It's sort of to test the waters on these type of videos and episodes to see whether they're actually enjoyable to watch and or listen to. The podcast is really still in a infancy stage. I'm not expecting anything I'm doing, especially at the moment, or even in the first 6 months, to be the most polished version that it'll ever be. I'm not delusional. I have a core group of fantastic listeners, but we're not talking in the millions here. Obviously, the team at Hyperfixation HQ is huge, and, you know, it's a bustling metropolis behind the scenes. And also the scheduling of guests, and that's also part of it, is that trying to schedule guests with sort of the time frames I'm working in is difficult at the moment. Once I finish this particular job, I'll have a lot more free time, which is great. I'll have a lot more time that'll be available for recording. So, we've got some really, really exciting episodes coming up, actually. So ones that are in the working. So there's The Last of Us. We're going to talk about season 1 and part 1. I've got a friend coming on to talk about, she's going to talk about the Trojan War, which is pretty cool. It's one of her hyperfixations. So, you know, keep your eyes peeled for that one. Also, one of my besties, she's going to come on, and she's we've got a few that we were talking about, but I wanted to. One topic we were discussing was what all the good stuff we had in primary school. You know, TV shows, lollies, all of that stuff. It's like what made life worth living in primary school was, I think, the working title for that particular episode. And we've had some suggestions come through on the inbox. So thank you for those of you who've gone to the website. There's a submission form there. Thank you for those who've already filled them out. There's been some great suggestions on that, including some Shakespeare soliloquies, which actually would be a fun little episode. I'd love to do that at some point. Either myself or I might get one of my actor friends as well to take part, and we'll read some soliloquies. So again, look, I want each episode, like there's some episodes we're gonna do some sequels to, like The Room. I've been talking to Lewis about getting him back for a little Godzilla watch through. So look, if you have anything you want to yap about for an hour or two and you feel like you don't have a avenue for it, hey, let Hyperfixation the podcast be the home for you. Listen here, Nazi, eat my fist. Ha! Yeah, my Harrison Ford is eerily close to sounding like a pirate. Oh, and they're doing really well. No, I can't die again. I'm gonna roll out of it. So Indy's got this roll, which is goated. Okay, I've got a full canteen. Maybe this is my whole problem, is that I wasn't doing it on full health before. All right. He travels about 15 meters by doing this roll. Also, the Nazis have like this side roll. Honestly, they're acrobatic. Oh my word. Sorry, a Nazi just jumped on top of a truck from like a standing start. It was crazy. Like, obviously, it's a game from, I think it's 2002. It's the early ooze. And so there's some ropey things about it, but as a game, it's so much fun. So one really cool thing is that when you're on a location like this, you can sort of see where you've come from and where you've gone, and like where you've gone. And this particular level, there's a lot of looping. So you go up the castle and then around and then back down and then out through another way. And so you revisit locations a lot, but they're often just in the background. So you can see, for audio listeners, through the gates that I'm looking through, you can see the whole place where I was in the very first level of Prague, which is cool because now I'm in a different part of it. So they've made it sort of feel large scale and open worldy, but condensed it into a quite a linear, small scale experience. It's clever things that developers had to do back in the day when, hardware limitations meant that you couldn't achieve, I guess, the dreams that you can now. You can now with games. Like the open world levels in the new Indy game are unbelievable. All right, jumping down. Whoa! Oh, there's swimming. Of course there's swimming because it's based off Tomb Raider. Swimming it might be the one mechanic in games that if it got removed forever, I wouldn't be so annoyed. All right, we're now properly into the castle now. Let's have a look around. Again, we're going to see more of these sort of destructible environments and objects. Like this chair. Take that, Nazi. Indy isn't that sort of hero. He's not like Arnie, who's just spouting a random pun or catchphrase. Or like a Bond. There is a liquor bottle. It must be Glenmorangie whiskey. 12-year-old blended Scotch whiskey. Oh, I'm getting beat up by some Nazis again. The locations are great. I think one thing you always forget about this game is how great the locations are. And the AI is great. I mean, this guy just went and picked up a chair, which is cool. Like, the fights are all... Like, I've played this game a lot of times. The fights are all... They feel randomly generated. Like, they feel very natural because it totally just depends. The enemies react to you. They will do different things each time based off, like, what objects are around, how well you're doing in the fight. Like, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. I'd really be interested in looking at some developer documentaries to see exactly how they did the enemies in this game particularly. Because even still, like, I don't think I've found enemies that are so sort of embedded in the world that feel like real enemies. I'm going to cut all that down. It makes no bloody sense, Noah. We're looking over just when things couldn't get any worse. We're looking out over a sort of like a ballroom, dining room sort of area. There's a bunch of Nazis underneath a massive chandelier. So we're going to use it to our advantage. We're going to sneak around the edge. We're sort of on a roof section.
We're supposed to be scared. That Von Beck's saloon.
Von Beck is, there's multiple antagonists in the game, but Von Beck is like the Nazi big bad. So if I want to think of Tot in Raiders, for instance, or Alison Doody in The Last Crusade. You know, there's like a Nazi bad guy, like a head of the Nazis or whatever, and then there's... Oh, I'm just swinging on a chain, folks, swinging on a chain. Indy will suffer damage when falling from a great height as well, so got to be careful. They've dropped some guns and also a throwing knife. The most useless weapon in the game, folks. We found it. I've got a lot of ammo for my Luger. So what's the button to... Oh, that's the button to reload. Okay. That's not gonna work. He says that a lot. When you try and open a door that won't open. Also, there's a lot of like lit torches around, so I don't know whether the Nazis did that because the castle is otherwise deserted. So not sure what that's all about. But hey, it adds a bit of atmosphere. You do get into that room, but you can't go through the door, so you use this chain. That's what it is. So the chains, you got to build up momentum, and then you jump at the apex. Yes. Ba-dum, I found some more Glenmorangie. That is going to shred my vocal cords. Oh no, it's a fight. I've entered the billiard room. Colonel Mustard isn't here, but there's 4 Nazis instead. Maybe that's a new version of Cluedo. Ugh. Okay, they've all got chairs, and they're all absolutely beating the living daylights out of me. You can pick up one of these balls, I think. There's the snooker table. I'm trying to pick up a ball from, but I don't think it'll... Oh, it won't let me. Oh, throwing knife. Ha-ha! What's good about the throwing knife is you can use it as an actual knife, which is actually... How rude. What's my Luger? I'm just gonna start shooting. They're all unarmed, which is... You shouldn't have brought a pair of fists to a gunfight, Nazi. Great. I've got my knife. That's always good. Oh, and there's a key in this room, isn't there? Yes, here we go. Jackpot. If it isn't Glenmorangie whiskey, at least it's the key I need to advance through this area. All right, folks, we're in the library. Indy is looking a little worse for wear. Hydrate or dihydrate. I need to find a fountain sometime soon. I think there's one in this level. There should be one in every level, I'd imagine. The library's cool. So we're entering in this sort of ancient library, and of course it's filled with Nazis. It's sort of 3-tiered. It's really good for knocking enemies off ledges, because they too suffer fall damage. It's good if you've had a bad day this game, because, you know, beating the crap out of some Nazis is therapeutic. As is a very intense, gravelly Harrison Ford impression. Yep. Okay, so I just knocked a Nazi off a ledge, and he did a backflip. 2 times the charm. All right. So I've got to get to a certain level. So the thing about like this game, that gives you no hints, really. Like, other than where to swing from, which is great. It encourages exploration. It allows you to sort of journey through a level. And, you know, a lot of the puzzles do make sense, and they do follow a pattern. So it's not like you're going completely blind. There's an artifact in this room as well, I've just remembered. Anyway, Indy is trapped in this library, but I've reached the end of my recording time, so I think I'm going to call it there, folks. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Hyperfixation, the podcast. This is a game I'd love to come back to another day. I really hope you enjoyed today's, and if you've got any suggestions, please feel free, write it in the comments. Send in a submission form online. We'd love to hear your feedback. Thank you so much, folks. Hope you have a great, great week. And on me, enjoy a bottle of Glenmorangie whiskey. Thanks, folks.